I'm very afraid to look in my mirror now that I'm alone again. I've fallen back into the same bad patterns as before. I know he is just waiting for eye contact now that I put it out of my head and became a grown-up again. But let's take you back. I'm 36 years old, and I've had a sexual and an emotional need to be regressed in a specific way for a long time now. This is an old story. My story. Recently, I somehow developed an emotional hole in my heart and in my soul. I was hurting. It was dangerous. I didn't know what to do about it. I didn't even know why I had it. I realized I couldn't fill my usual void through my usual methods. But as I was trying to do that very thing, I glanced in the mirror like I always do, to see myself using my usual means to get turned on like I do. And I saw the sadness on my face. I touched my hand to the glass of the mirror, and I told myself, it's too bad you couldn't help me. Later that night, as I lie awake in bed, battling my insomnia and rolling all my thoughts around, I thought back to that. I began to think it wouldn't be fair for just the same me to come out of the mirror. I mean, he could fulfill my needs, but I would have a hard time fulfilling his. And then to think about it more, he would have a hard time fulfilling my needs because he is me too. So I thought that would never work. But what if the mirror showed a parallel world? Like a bizarro world where things were opposite but still the same. So like the me there would be a top and a dom. Mind you, problematically, it might mean that he could also be a jerk as well, though that wouldn't be good. So things like this are how I expanded thought. It gets deeper, way deeper, but let's start to pick up the pace slightly. The next day, I was filming videos of myself partaking in these methods of filling my void to share with others into the same thing. I saw myself in the mirror from the back as well as on the video display. I felt like I was being watched from behind and watching somebody else from behind. My video feed and mirror had created a loop. I thought of what I said. Now, it almost looked like it was becoming real. I started to lose myself in the fantasy, wishing it was true. I started to play like I do. I come up with unpleasant sounding things that I want, and I ask myself as if I were myself and my dom, Daddy, do I have to? Then I do eeny meeny miny moe to decide whether to do it or not. So now with this fantasy in my mind, I started using the mirror to look at it and ask. I eventually got into doing that, but still was empty. I started begging for the man in the mirror to save me. I even tried to pretend like I was doing summoning spells and mind over matter tricks, different things. As my hole grew ever deeper, I started to fall into the same bad patterns and taking risks. And then I caught his eye. In my mind, he ordered me. Without using eeny meeny miny moe, I immediately complied. I felt something, a little more alive perhaps. I began to give in to that fantasy further. I started truly imagining the consequences and the long talks. I even started feeling slightly better. He let me off my punishment because I had to get back into normal life. Then during my normal life, I experienced the same joys as before, but I still had some of the emptiness that has gotten way out of hand, lingering. Then I fell right back into the same bad patterns, this time during the usual joy. This time it really has gone too far. I'm very afraid to face my daddy in the mirror now, but I can't bear not to look any longer. The tingles up my spine feel like I am being screamed at, ordered to come to it. I must be going now. I must look. In case I don't get out of this all right, I'm writing this here. I brought this on myself. I deserve it. It's time for me to face it. One more parting word before I go. A warning to you, to all of you. I know it is a cliche, but you have to believe me. Be careful what you wish for and do. It may not be what you desire at all. Goodbye.